up, all? This is Alex Diode, aka The Space Journey, and I'm going to show you a little bit of some bass tricks. Excuse me, some bass tricks here. Right now I'm using Serum, and I've got a couple wavetables going on here. So let's take a look at the sounds and remove any effects, and just let you hear what this is sounding like from the beginning, from construction. So I've got a wavetable position. I've got a wavetable here, and the wavetable position set to about 2 to bring in this little sound, and the octave is set to 1. And I'm playing that in F. All right. So then, basic stuff there. Let's see. Let's take off all this stuff. This is what I have going on. Top 4. All right. So let's hear it. Just a crazy simple sine. Looks like it has some amplitude modulation going on in there. All right. So if you can see, I am automating or have an LFO on the volume, and I think that's it for this one. Yep. And then over here, it's going through this filter. This is the filter with a reverb setting on it. The cutoff is set all the way down. Both oscillators A and B are feeding through this thing. Resonance is just up a tiny bit. I mean, it's really drop it in there. And then what I do is I have the oscillator B, which is another wavetable. This is what it sounds like. Woo, sounds good. And then I have my sub on direct out, so nothing but sub comes out of there. And then I have all this going on with these little LFOs, so that's how I set up the LFO. It's set up to repeat every bar. This LFO2 is set up to repeat every quarter of a bar. And let's see here. This is controlling the FM from the sub on oscillator B. And then in the effects, I have the hyper dimension, pretty much a unison spreader on here. I have distortion with the sine fold on. Everything's set to off, and the drive is very light, but I am automating the drive with the same LFO that I used on the oscillator A and B levels and the reverb here. So the compressor is set to multiband, which is a very good multiband compressor. It brings those high ends out and leaves the low end. Let's see if I can. Yeah, it sounds good, huh? It sounds crunchy. All right, and then I have a filter. So it takes care of this filter is one of those 3-fers where it has a low pass, high pass, and I think phase in there. At a 12 dB roll off. Let's see here. Cutoff is set to 313. The morph is set up so you're getting more of the high end and that phase filter. I think that's what it is. I'm really not sure, but whatever. Sounds cool. And on the channel, let's name this lame bass. And we're going to set the color to purple. Who cares? And then I have a wave shaper by Fruity on there. This is what it sounds like without. And this is what it sounds like with. Just a little bit crunchier. Then I have some EQ. Bring up the bass. And what I'm going to do is actually change this to mid and side. And I'm going to take the change it from mono on the low end here. So it just sounds deep as heck, but I don't want it too far. And maybe this is cool here. Good stuff. So I dipped it up here. Let me raise the sides to make it nice and wide at the top. See a side and all right, cool. That sounds good. And sometimes I like to add a little bit of trash on there. Not sometimes, actually a lot of the time. What I do, I set this to multiband. And let's see if it's... And I like to add a little that brings out that mid range. I'm gonna bring this up a bit because I don't want to distort the sub too much. I just want to bring it up a bit. Woo! And on the top end, I will. What is this bypass on for? Who knows? Woo! Crunchy. I love when it sounds like it's dirty. Whoa, that's too much. Saw the alright, cool. So now we've got that's going on. We've got the bass line, and this is what it sounds like. This here is just a snare I created with layering and FM8. Same thing with the kick. Let's bring the mixer in to make sure these mother are loud. Alrighty, and then I have this weird. This is from my track Disassemble. This is just the drum loop with a lot of distortion on it, and then this cool ride here that I've gridded up with some rig modulation, and that's it. We can just drop this thing in. A little effect on there. Yeah, listen to me rip that up. And that's basically it on that bass sound. Not much going on. There's a lot more that you can do, even with changing the bass line. That sounds actually pretty darn tootin'. Let's do this.